Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Sid Dutta, CEO and founder of Privaclave. It is an absolute privilege to be here today to talk about something that has truly touched lives and transformed communities. In a world where dating platforms are often associated with urban sophistication and English-speaking audiences, there exists a remarkable platform that has taken an entirely different approach, one that embraces the heart and soul of India's small towns and villages. Yes, we're going to be talking about Flutrr, India's first vernacular dating platform. And behind this groundbreaking initiative, there are two visionaries whose passion and commitment have made this possible. Their vision was not just to create another dating app, but to craft a space where every individual, regardless of their geographical location and language, feels seen, valued, and included. Today, we'll delve deeper into their inspiring story, the challenges they overcame, and the dreams they hold for the future of Flutrr. Let's give a warm welcome to Flutrr's co-founder and CEO, Kaushik Banerjee, and co-founder and CMO, Anirban Banerjee.
Thank you, Sid. Thank you for having us.
I want to dive right in.
Yeah, sure. Well,
How did Flutrr happen? Walk us through kind of the genesis of it.
there's no remarkable story about how Flutrr happened. I think Anirban, who happens to be my son also, had just passed out of Xavier's and he was headed to Alliance Manchester Business School in UK for his MBA. And COVID happened. Okay, right. So as parents, we didn't want him to go. We didn't allow him to go. So Anirban, being Anirban, said that I don't want to waste my time sitting at home. So I want to do a startup. So I said, fine, go ahead, do a startup. So he and I think 3 or 4 of his Gen Z friends, they brainstormed and they came back and told me they want to build a dating app. So I said, that's quite a waste of time because there are quite number of dating apps in the country.
Right.
So they again went back, they went to travel. They traveled to small towns during COVID, okay, and came back and said, we want to build a vernacular dating app. Okay, right. So that really got my attention because, India is the second largest English-speaking country in the world, but only 9.8% Indians speak English. 82% of Google searches in India happen in the vernacular language. And there were and there are only English dating apps in the country. So the large, untapped, non-English speaking youth market, which we call Bharat, is completely underserved, completely untapped. Okay, right. And when Anirban and his team came back with this groundbreaking idea of a vernacular dating app, I am actually hit by a lightning. So that's how Flutrr started. Anirban can probably tell you more.
Right. So ideally, the concept was to change the way, Western dating apps work in India. So Western dating apps were basically carbon copy of whatever they were selling in the West. And they just put the same thing in India. And that is where the problem begins because India is a land where, every 200 kilometers, geographies change, languages change, cultures change. It's a very diverse land. And when there's so much diversity, I think that is where if you're catering a market like that, you need to understand the people first. And dating is a very, very psychological business. So it depends on the psyche, it depends on certain cultural nuances. And that is where I think, Flutrr came in because we wanted to solve that. We wanted to understand people better before, proposing something like dating to them.
Right. Well, that's fascinating because me and you, we've been off the dating market for decades. So this is not...
Well, I'm hoping you're as off the dating market as I am.
Now, Kaushik, you have founded other startups and you've had a very illustrious corporate career for several decades. Why a dating platform to begin with, right? Instead of, something that is more conventional, traditional, tech, or any sort of other vertical.
Well, there's nothing wrong with a dating platform. And I thought the whole idea of creating a multilingual vernacular dating platform with your son is quite a remarkable thing to do. I don't think there are too many father-son duo running a dating app. Okay, right? I mean, we had to take, of course, I took the permission of my wife to do it. But there are not too many father-son who are running a dating app. That's one. Second is, hard reality-wise, if you look at India, the next 2-3 decades, the GDP growth will be driven by small towns. Okay, right? I mean, even if you look at the data today, the per capita GDP growth or the per capita income growth in small towns is higher than the large towns. So it is my very sincere belief that the next 2-3 decades, which anyway everybody says this century belongs to India, I think this century belongs to small town India. Right? And India is a young country, median age of 29, with 65% of the population below 35 years of age. So we have a demographic dividend, right? So if you couple these two things, I think the future belongs to non-English speaking youth of small towns. And they have basically two concerns, love life and career.
Right.
Career, there are a lot of players, but a father and son could do something good about their love life, and if they could make choices about their romantic partners, just like this large town kids, then I think in a way we are helping them evolve better.
Right.
In a way we are empowering the small town women to exercise their choice. In a way we are also attacking patriarchy. Right. So all this put together spurred us on.
Right. I mean, just to add to that, as I said earlier, I think it's very important to understand the audience. It's very important to also know that what is actually empowering to these people. And as I said, that culture is such a thing that Flutrr, we believe that, even if we adopt Western cultures, we don't lose our grounding with the Indian culture as well. So it's time to upgrade Indian cultures, I would say, not change them.
Right.
We're not here to change cultures. We're here to upgrade them. And that is where I think a bit of Western influence is good. But again, that does not mean that I forget my roots and I remove what we have. So that's, I think, something we believe in.
Now, this platform has given people something very invaluable: the chance to find companionship and love while staying true to who they are. It has bridged the gap between tradition and technology, enabling people from diverse backgrounds to connect and interact with authenticity. Tell us how you approached your platform roadmap, and the customer demographics, the languages, to start with, when you launched your first minimum viable product.
Well, so India, as you know, has 26 major languages, right? And impossible for a product to be launched in 26 languages all in one go, right? So when we launched with only Hindi and Bengali, right? So just to test the waters, to figure out how is the language getting adopted, how is the whole platform getting adopted, what is the user feedback, how do we optimize the product, etc., etc. Later on, we added the 4 South Indian languages, because the 4 South Indian languages are completely different from Hindi and Bengali. And we started approaching Northeast. So Northeast English is pretty common. It's like the local language. So currently we have 7 languages. So the 4 South Indian languages cover the South Indian states, the 4 South Indian states. Hindi covers the West, the North, and Bengali is Bengali, of course, Bengal, and English covers the Northeast. So I think in terms of spread, we have covered most of India. Okay, we are still missing languages like Odisha, Odia, Bhojpuri, or Punjabi. So we are still missing those languages. We'll keep on adding those languages. But as far as with the language spread that we have now, we cover roughly around 80% of the India's population. So to that extent, for a platform which is less than 3 years old, okay, I think it's a good beginning.
So now in retrospect, what were some of the challenges that you faced, while trying to get Flutrr stood up? Would you want to reflect on some of those learnings and things that you would do differently if you were to do it all over again from scratch?
I'll talk about my perspective. Anirban can add his perspective also. So I think one of the biggest challenges we faced was getting small town women onto the platform. Okay. And in a dating or a relationship platform, getting women is important, because otherwise the men will not be there. Therefore, you don't have a business. Okay, right? So getting women on the platform was our biggest challenge. And Anirban and his team I think we went to several women colleges, appointed women campus influencers to help us spread the word about Flutrr. Right. And our tech team had to develop proprietary tech for safety and privacy of women. Okay, right. So I think the first 6 months of our launch was a bit of a challenge in terms of onboarding small town women. Today we have reached a position where the percentage of women on our platform are higher than the English dating apps. So to that extent, I think we have been successfully onboarded small town women, given them safety and privacy, and Anirban can talk about some of the safety and privacy features which we developed. Some of them were developed in the beginning, some of them got developed through user feedback. So that was our biggest challenge. Anirban, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, another thing is that, dating right now in India as a concept is at a pretty nascent stage. So dating has been adopted by tier 1, metro youth a lot, and not the large scale India for that matter. So another challenge we faced is to educate people on the, fronts of dating, to make them understand that dating is fine.
Because we have always had matrimonial.
Right. Matrimonial is something the entire country understands and also realizes that, okay, that is an end goal of a particular relationship. But again, the entire aspect of being in love or being in a relationship or dating for that matter, trying to figure out if things are going to work with the other person, that is not there. Even today, at least, we living in, bigger cities in India, for us, I think it's a normal thing. It's pretty okay. But if you go into the larger India, people are actually not that educated about dating as a concept. So I think that is one problem we as a platform, as an app, or even as a business we faced at the start. And along with that, again, safety and trust on online platforms is a huge thing in India. It's a huge population, a lot of people on the internet, cheap internet. There are so many things. So everyone has access to smartphone, everyone has access to internet. And again, that with itself brings this entire challenge of understanding whether we are actually making a safe space for dating, because dating requires a safe space. Dating also depends a lot on trust between two parties. So, most of the dating apps in India are not being able to crack the safety code which is needed. So at Flutrr, when we started off, our main goal was to make sure that if not anything else, compared to our competition, compared to the dating apps which exist, we are going to be building a more safer environment. So for that, we built in a lot of features which were questionable at that time to people, especially we stopped screenshots. We created a private mode messaging system where, women can chat in confidence with people and the data is not stored either on our cloud or even on the hardware device. So we came up with these features in order to make women feel more safe here. And if women feel safer, they're going to be taking that extra step to join these platforms and to actually look for more long-term, serious, meaningful connections.
What would you have done differently in terms of one thing that we wish, if we were to ever build this from scratch again, this is how would we change or do it differently than a better one?
Okay, so one of the things we did along the way was to onboard Times of India as an investor, a company. Now, when that happened, it lent a lot of credibility to the brand. And really spurred adoption. So maybe I should have spoken to Times of India before launch.
Oh, right.
So that is one. And also just to add to Anirban's point, I'll tell you one small story which was interesting. There's a girl from Jhansi. She wrote to us saying that she was on Flutrr and one of her cousins saw her on Flutrr. And went and told her parents, and her parents gave her hell. So we had to build a feature called block known contacts. Right. So when you block known contacts, people on your phone book can't see your profile on Flutrr. Now that's something which we never thought of when we had launched. It was a user feedback. Which helped us develop this feature. So one of the practices which we have inculcated in Flutrr is for every member of our team to speak to users every month. So that we get feedback, we get people telling us what they're liking, what they're hating, what they're disliking, and continuously evolve the product.
Now, when it comes to platforms like this, there's a tremendous amount of sensitivity and privacy that's at stake here. right? Customers trust your platform to be most secure, and they entrust you with the accountability and responsibility of keeping their information from being disclosed. Because obviously they are uploading a lot of their personal information. There are some very, very intimate interactions that are happening through chats and pictures and videos. So how is Flutrr addressing this need, and in a lot of cases mandates through various industry standards and regulations of keeping their customer data, secured and safe, yet providing them with a seamless and joyful experience of the platform?
So yes, we have put in some measures like encryption, verification, firewalls, all of that. But I think both Anirban and I now realize that we need to go beyond this, and we need to keep it in more higher forms of safety, security, data privacy, fraud guard, all of that measures into place so that the platform really becomes secure. Okay, right. And it's like this. I mean, it's like the antivirus industry. You keep on creating antiviruses, viruses keep on growing.
Right.
And you again create new antiviruses. So I guess this is an onward journey. This is an ongoing journey.
Yeah, and as even when you're storing data, so I think that major leaks and breaches happen from storage units only. And so that is why protecting the backend storage for data and also keeping backups for, restoring data if needed. Yeah. These are very important, in terms of being very compliant with data management. I think we encourage our teams to be more vigilant, to be more alert on certain background activities that are happening, or if there is any breach, we have made sure that we, our team is intimidated even earlier, because we need to know that where there's a leak. So we are very particular about protecting the user's data, protecting the confidential stuff the user is sharing. Chats, we don't read chats. Unlike most, I will not name these platforms, but the world knows who reads chats. So that's the thing. We don't believe in that, and we will not change this, because it's the ethos of the company totally relies on security of our users.
So I think from a data-centric, security perspective, why Privaclave? What were some of the key differentiators of Privaclave that made it a simple choice for you to ensure your customer information was safe?
So I'm not a techie guy, but I am from a CEO perspective. It is very important for me to understand and that my users' data is secure all the time. Okay, right. And the kind of technology which you brought in, and the kind of speed at which it will be implemented, and the kind of low cost it will be implemented. They are non-invasive, exactly, doesn't have to impact my operations. All of that led me to partner with you. Right. So the partnership with Privaclave is very important to Flutrr, because it is protecting the sensitivity and the privacy of our users on an ongoing basis,
and retaining and expanding your customers' trust on the platform. Yeah. And of course, as you guys are expanding with various capabilities, AI has been kind of fundamental, to pretty much every business process. And of course, AI data security, needs AI-powered, tools. Right? So that's another thing, that as you grow and evolve your technology stack, you need also a solution, essentially, that can scale, with the advancements that you're making to the platform.
See, today, the future belongs to AI. Okay, right. So even if the safety and security features can be AI powered, right, and helps us in doing things better, faster, quicker, and more safer. Yeah, then that's the path. That's the route.
Absolutely.
That's how you go about it.
So I think with Flutrr, you created a beacon of hope for millions of people. Quite honestly, until now, they kind of felt themselves excluded from the mainstream digital matchmaking scene, right? And the Flutrr has actually given these individuals, who are deeply rooted to their vernacular languages and their rich cultural traditions and unique lifestyles. Here, love is just not about swiping right. Right here, it's about meaningful connections shared values and the joy of being understood in their own language.
That's right.
Yeah, just to add to that, it's not about swiping right, it's about finding right. So we believe in finding right.
Yeah, that should be a trademark, tagline, right?
Anirban comes up with trademark. The tagline is one a day.
Well, thank you so much, Jananku, for
taking-
thought leadership and the inspiration. I think this probably would inspire a lot of other entrepreneurs to kind of, follow your lead and think differently, think very customer-centric, think about the traditions and the culture. And I would say let's take a moment to applaud their and their team extraordinary work and just celebrate the transformative impact that they've had on audience.
Thanks to you, Sid, we now have access to Privaclave, so I can sleep better at night.
Yeah, that's the hopes.
And millions others.
Yes.